our wallet. And first we need to import the wallets that we just created into our Phantom wallet. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and grab the path right here of the output file of the key pair. And let's go back to the terminal, and I'm going to do a cat or concatenate, and then paste that location right there. Now that's going to bring up the raw bits of the password, so I'm going to go ahead and copy everything, including the array brackets. Make sure that's copied to your clipboard, and then let's open up Phantom, and I'm going to say I already have a wallet. Import private key, and make sure that's on Solana. Let's say, I'll name it anything you want. I'll name mine Block Explorer Wallet, paste my key in there, and import. Okay, so now you're going to create a new password. Let's just say Block Explorer. Looks like I already have an account somewhere, so let's just say Block Explorer 1. And of course, give it any name that you want here. Click Continue. Get started. Okay, so now that my wallet is set up, I can go ahead and enter my password, log in. Now what I'm going to want to do is either somehow purchase, sold, or transfer it from an exchange or another wallet so that you have enough to at least cover the gas fees for what we're going to be doing. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and fund my wallet. Okay, so I funded my wallet with about $28. Hopefully that'll be enough for everything we want to do here. And with that, let's go ahead and move on to the next section, mint tokens. And let's go ahead and execute this first command to actually mint our token using the Token 2022 program. Same thing we did in the last tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and run that in the terminal. Okay, and once that's completed, let's grab the mint address, very important. I'm just going to grab all of this actually. Paste that in Notepad, and then I'm just going to copy this down here so we know that's the mint address. Okay. All right, so now that we've got that minted, we can go ahead, and the next step is to create our token account so that our wallet can actually hold that type of token. So I'm going to copy this next command, and I'm going to bring that back into Notepad, and let's go ahead and copy the mint address right here where the placeholder is. Now let's go ahead and copy that and run that command. Okay, and this is our token account. So again, I'm gonna just need to grab this part and make sure we have our token account saved somewhere safe in Notepad or anywhere else. Okay, let's go to the next step. Mint your initial supply. So let's grab this command right here. And now this number you can change to be whatever you want your total token supply to be. I'm gonna stick with, well, I might change it. Let's stick with 1 million. I'm gonna paste that command in Notepad. And again, we want to replace the mint address placeholder here with our mint address. Perfect. All right, now I'm gonna grab this full command. And I'll tell you what, let's do 10 million. Okay. Let's go ahead and execute that command as well. Okay, and again, I'm just going to save this data and sort of dump it in Notepad for now. I'll organize this a little bit better later, but just so we have everything saved here. Go ahead and save that file. All right, so let's go ahead and quickly verify that our token exists and that the correct amount has been transferred to our wallet, which should happen automatically. So we can do SPL token counts, and that should give us our token and the balance in our wallet, which that looks correct, about 10 million. Now, there's another thing we can do is verify our token on I almost said Etherscan, on on the Block Explorer page for Solana, whatever it's called, I forgot, explorer.solana.com. So if you just scroll down a little bit from mint tokens, there is a URL that we can modify. So let's go ahead and paste that into Notepad. And we just have to substitute our mint address here. So I'm going to grab that. plug that in here, and let's go ahead and copy the whole thing, and let's go to the browser, paste that in your URL window. Perfect, so we should see an entry for our token here. It says unknown token, no symbol, because we haven't initialized any kind of metadata yet, but we can see that this matches our mint address and that the correct number of supply is shown here. Now, another thing we can do is make sure that we can see our token in Phantom Wallet. So if you open it up right away, you're probably not going to see it because Phantom Wallet doesn't load custom tokens right off the bat. We sort of have to tell it where to look. So if we just grab our mint address, that's the key piece of information that it needs. And let's figure out where to add that. So you're going to be here, manage tokens maybe. Is this it right here? Yep, looks like it's found it already. So all we have to do, I think, is just pop this toggle on, close it, and perfect. So we see the 10 million nulls, the ticker symbol again, just because we haven't specified that, as well as the name and the logo. That's going to be the next step. Okay, so let's go ahead and initialize our token metadata. Now we'll be using a service called Sriracha, which we also used in the last video. So I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And this is basically a service that will pin your uploads metadata and image file to IPFS, Interplanetary File System. So what we want to do is, and you can link from the README over to Sriracha. Go ahead and create an account if you don't have one. I've got one already, so I'm going to click on Start Storing. And what you want to do is create a workspace, or they call it spaces, I think. I've already got one from the last tutorial, so I'm going to click into here, and I'm going to go ahead and start by uploading my image first. Now the companion repository includes two sample folders, one called My Token, and that includes a sample image and a sample metadata file. So what you can do is replace this with your own image, and then in the metadata file, replace all the references of My Token with your token name. Now I'm going to use the Block Explorer folder, because that's all set up for my particular token. Okay, so that being said, let's go back to Sriracha. And let's upload our file first. Let's upload our image file first. So I'm going to click on upload, and I'm going to browse for my image file on my hard drive. So that's going to be somewhere right here. Liquidity Tool Tutorial, Explorer, and there's my image file. So let's go ahead and upload that. Perfect. Now what we're going to want to do is copy this little ID right here that it returns. This is a CID, which is a sort of hash of the uploaded content. And we'll need this to plug into our metadata file to reference the image that we just uploaded. So I'm going to go in my IDE and go ahead and open up the metadata file. Yours might be under My Token, or if you've renamed it to your token's name in that folder. Okay, so what we're going to want to do is grab our image URL and paste it into the two locations in the metadata.json file. So let's go back to Sriracha and let's drill into our image, which should be the earlier of the two, right here. Let's click on URL, and I just like to grab the full URL from here. So let's click on that and verify that we see it in the browser. I'm going to grab this entire URL and then come back into my IDE and substitute that with the placeholders here. Oops. Save that file. Okay, now the next step, we're going to upload the metadata to Sriracha, the metadata.json file. So let's click on Upload Another. Let's browse to that location on our hard disk and go ahead and upload the metadata. Okay, now you want to also copy this CID, and I'm going to go ahead and save this in Notepad. And I'll just make a little note so I know what this is. Metadata CID. Okay. Okay, so the next step is to actually associate our token with that metadata on Solana, which we can do by issuing the initialize metadata command. So if we scroll down here to step 4, let's go ahead and copy this into Notepad so we can build out the proper command. Okay, so first let's replace the mint address. Grab that right here. And then we'll want to update the token name and ticker symbol. So I'll say Block Explorer, and then I think we said BEX. Now, what we want to do is replace this entire URL to our metadata file on Sriracha. So let's go to the web interface and let's go ahead and click into the metadata and then we'll click on URL. And I just like to grab the direct, fully qualified IPFS URL. So click on metadata.json and we can see the file right here. So let's just grab that URL from the browser and let's go ahead and replace that with the placeholder URL. Okay, now we can grab that entire command and let's go ahead and issue it in the terminal. And give that a minute or two and we can go back and check our wallet. And perfect, looks like we see our logo and all of our metadata. Okay, so we can move on to the next step, which is creating our liquidity pool. Okay, let's go ahead and set up our liquidity pool. Now this is what's going to give our token an initial value and make it tradable on the market. So if we scroll down in the README to the liquidity pool section, and we're looking for step 8, let's go ahead and open the Radian link in a new tab. Okay, so let's go ahead and connect our wallet first. Choose Phantom. Okay, wallet is connected. Now what we want to do is go to the liquidity section from the top menu. And what we're going to do is create a new pool. So let's do, alright, so let's choose standard AMM. Continue. Alright, now here's where you want to pause a bit and kind of think about your liquidity pool strategy. So, you know, if you minted 1 million or 10 million tokens, you have all that in your wallet right now. You probably don't want to use all of that for the pool right away. I'd suggest start small. That way you have more leverage down the road to add to your liquidity later. You'll have plenty of tokens left over for things like airdrops and other kind of distributions. Now I did add some more funds to my wallet, and the reason for that is because if you look down here, there is a base fee of 0.2 SOL for setting up a new pool. So I'm not sure, I think that's in addition to gas fees. Don't quote me on that, but anyway, I just want to make sure that I had enough left over after that to, you know, give some sort of substantial base to the token pair. And you know, the thing is, I'm starting pretty small, obviously. So 93 minus 0.2 SOL minus gas fees, that's not going to be a lot of initial value. So I'm going to pair it with a small amount of tokens, and then I can always come back later and add more liquidity whenever I want to. So let's start small for today, and just to see how it goes. All right, so the base token, this is going to be your token. So what I'm going to do is go back to my notepad and grab my mint address, because that's what I'll need to look it up. All right, so let's click into the token here and paste in address. All right, let's say add user token. I'm not sure why my name isn't showing up, but I guess it's just a matter of time. Okay, and select token. Okay, great. Now, for the quote token, that's going to be the token that we're pairing it against, which in most cases is going to be SOL. But if you have like a different kind of token, you might use USDC or something like that. Okay, so let's click into the value here, and I'm only going to use like 100,000 initially. And then let's see what we can do for SOL. Let's see, we've got 0.4 minus, let's say like 0.25. That'll be just shy of $50. So $50 against 100,000 tokens. Obviously, each token is going to start with a pretty low value here, but that's enough just to get us going. All right, and hopefully that I left enough for the base fee. Let's click on Initialize Liquidity Pool. Okay, and we'll have to confirm that transaction in our wallet. Great, so our pool has been created. And you know, the disclaimer here says it may take a few minutes before this shows up in the pool list. Kindly wait, refresh the page. That kind of goes without saying. Anytime you do anything blockchain, it's going to take a while for those confirmations to come through. So for now, I'm going to just click on my AMM ID. That stands again for Automated Market Maker. So I'm just going to go ahead and some place to store this. Say liquidity pool, AMMID, save that. All right, so let's take a look and see if our pool has been created. So I'm gonna grab our AMMID and we'll just paste that into the search bar right here. And there it is. There's our Solana Block Explorer token pair. And the good news is my logo is showing up now as well as the name, so that just takes some time. Don't worry if you don't see it initially. This setup allows anyone to swap between the two tokens. And the price of our token is determined automatically based on the ratio of liquidity in the pool. So over here you can see some of the live metrics. Liquidity shows the total value locked in the pool. Volume 24 shows how much has been traded in the past day. Free 24 shows how much liquidity providers have earned from trades. And the APR gives an estimate of the annual yield from provided liquidity. So over on the right, when you click deposit, that's how you add more liquidity. You're basically putting in equal amounts of Solana and your token, and in return, you'll earn a small share of the trading fees. And that's it. Our token now exists on chain, has metadata and a logo, is tradable through a live Raydium pool, and from here it's automatically discoverable on both Jupiter and Solana DEX aggregators. All right, so just to prove that everything's working, let's go ahead and try a simple token swap. So I'm going to go to the swap tab here, and let's just take a look in my wallet just to get a baseline. So I've got 0.4782 SOL and 9.9 million Block Explorer. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's do a swap from SOL to Block Explorer. So I'm buying some of mine. Now, you can see that SOL is grayed out here. The way to fix that is to actually first populate